Hey y'all, it's me. I guess I'm going to kind of take y'all on the continuation of the journey. I did a little short this morning, showing you what I do to kind of enhance the water for all of my critters. And I don't know, some of you may be interested in this, but I want to share it with you just in case. I have actually been on a journey with my chicken feed for a number of years. We started keeping chickens when we moved back over here in 2018. Well, actually, it was that spring, 2019, when I got my first chicken. So, chicken keeping is not something that I have done my entire life. And Hugh has, he grew up on a farm, and his grandmother always had chickens. His mom always had chickens. So chicken husbandry to him is just, simple. And why do I make it so complicated? I agree. I shouldn't have it be so complicated. So last year, let me see. I had done a lot of reading about fermented chicken feed, and I did that for about, for about 6 months. And then when Aaron moved here, even before Aaron moved here, I was really getting tired of it. It produces a really healthy feed for your, the probiotics, all of that sort of thing, because you're fermenting your corn and wheat or oats or whatever grains you're using, you're fermenting them. And the chickens loved it, but it took a lot of time out of my day, and it just reached the point where it was more than I felt like I could commit to. So I actually took the really simple way out and just started buying the bagged feed. And especially when we had Aaron's critters here, and we had the peacocks, and then we ended up with guineas, and of course I had my geese and my ducks. I was buying all flock. So that was just the easiest way to do it, is just buy the all flock. But I resist using a lot of the pre-made animal feed. I do use it pre-made for my dogs and my cats, but I improve the nutrition by adding eggs, by adding leftovers, meat leftovers, and even when we had, a couple of steers processed, I kept the livers and the tongue and bones so that I could make broth for them, and just everywhere I can find a little bit of extra nutrition and flavor. Because, ew, would you not hate to be a doggy and just be confronted with this yucky, nasty, flavorless yuck every day? But we don't have the kind of money to buy like the farmer's dog or the all natural, or to make the all natural food for them. That's a really big expense when you just have a couple of dogs, but when you have 9, no. So I use as good a brand of dog food as we can, and then I just increase the nutritional value and the flavor as much as I can. Now we have lots of eggs, so I do use the eggs to increase the protein, but I have to scramble them because our dogs, we have a couple of them that just will not eat raw eggs. I don't know why. But it's not a big deal just to spend, a couple of minutes in the morning just scrambling. I usually do 4 eggs, and I put it in the blender and I blend it up, and then I just pour that over their food. Sometimes I add a little bit of bacon grease because that flavors it up nicely. And that's what they kind of get. Just a little bit of flavor, a little bit extra protein. But let me explain to you what I'm doing in here now. I have been, if any of y'all are chicken people, I would appreciate your experiences in creating your own foods and just ideas. I have looked a lot online. I've read a lot of articles, watched a lot of YouTubes. Some of them are just over the top intense with multiple ingredients, and I'm not willing to do that. There is a lady that I like to listen to her for a couple of years, and her name is Becky. And if y'all are interested in keeping chickens, she's a great resource. And her YouTube channel is called Becky's Homestead. So this recipe is one that I've gotten from her channel, and I'm going to give it a try. If y'all have any suggestions on, tweaking it without making it super intense, I would appreciate that. But anyway, her recipe basically is whole corn. Let me show you what I've already got mixed down in here. It's whole corn, whole oats, and black sunflower seed. And then to that, she adds diatomaceous earth. And now the diatomaceous earth is something that I'm adding to all of my animals' food, except for the cattle. And I don't know, I may look a little bit into that and just go ahead and add some diatomaceous earth when Hugh feeds them. He feeds them grain once a week, and that's so that he can keep them gentle. They'll come when he calls them. So I may add some diatomaceous earth to that as well, because it's supposed to be an excellent wormer. And it's all natural. I like that. I don't like all the chemicals that we're giving to our dogs and cats and critters. And so that's one of the reasons I'm trying to get away from the pre-made bird food, or the Alfalfa, because one of the first ingredients is soy. And so I'm against soy in most anything. I know that it's good in diets in the Orient, but with all that I have read, the reason that it's good in the Orient is because they ferment it. And so they don't just eat soy. Just eating soy the way we eat soy in this country is known to be cancer. Hello, that scared y'all? It scared me. But like so many things in this country, we'll take a good thing and then make it terrible. So using soy the way that we use it in this country isn't the good thing. It's just a filler in our animal feeds. And so I just want to get rid of the soy. And I wish I could do that for my dogs and my cats as well. I don't think the food that we're feeding the dogs a brand called 4Health. And that's kind of a mid-range, but our veterinarian has said definitely not to feed anything that has dyes in it. And so many of the dog foods out there have dyes in them, so that's kind of a mid-priced dog food that we could go to that gets away from the dyes. And let me see, I had a bag around here somewhere, but yeah, here it is. But okay, I don't see any soy in there, so I guess that's a good thing at least. But all right, so let me show you what I am doing for my little chickens and geese and ducks, and hopefully this is going to be the good thing. And you can see that I'm using my cement mixer that I use when I'm mixing block mix for growing my little seedlings. So this thing came in really handy. I've used it for multiple things. And I'll be using it for cement pretty soon for my steps up front. But I'm mixing like three containers. My little metal container right here. I know I'm sounding confused. It's because I'm confused. I'm using this little container to measure with, and I'm using 3 of these for the oats, 3 for the corn, and then 2 for the black sunflower seed. And then to that amount, I'm putting about a half of a cup of the diatomaceous earth and just letting it mix up good. But let's get this started, and then we'll walk around and see how our critters are taking to that, because I gave them some of this yesterday. Let me see if I can set you up here so you can see what I'm doing. And we'll let it mix while we're gone, because it is extraordinarily loud. I don't like to hear it. Oops, sorry. That first sound is really loud when you pour it in on that metal. And not so bad. But I hope y'all are having a beautiful day. I got up this morning, the first time I opened the door to let the dogs out. It was actually chilly enough for a jacket. That was something. As a matter of fact, I took Chelsea to an orthopedic visit she had a little while ago. She has some problems with her thumbs because her ligaments don't stay in place, and her joints have always kind of jumped in and out of position. And at this point, it's causing her some pretty intense pain and damage. So she is possibly facing some surgery. But right now, thankfully, it looks right now she's just having to wear a brace for a couple of months. And let me get out here before I turn it on, because it is loud. All right. And it sounds like something is loose in the motor. I brought that to Hugh's attention yesterday, and he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It'll be fine." So that's what I'm saying. We'll just go with that. All right. Go over here and get my bucket. And my critters eat quite a bit. I mean, they really do eat a lot. So, I'm hoping what I have read suggests that this will actually go a little further. That they won't eat quite as much of this. Maybe because it's, you see the smoke? That diatomaceous earth is like baby powder. Alright, there we go. And now the one other thing that Becky suggests is that to make sure that you're giving them plenty of protein, and you can see that is dyed cat food. I'm using the last of the cat food, but this is kind of my kitchen scraps bucket, and I put about 2 cups of cat food in with it. She says you can use cat food or puppy food. It needs to be, you know, the smaller grain or kibble, so they can eat it easier. And that's what I toss in there. Well, that lid's not going to stay on, so let's leave it here. Toss it in there and increase their protein allowance a little bit. Alright. Let's go over and turn our waters on. I see you girls. See, they know it's time to eat. So bring it on. Bring it on. Oh well. Oh, and I forgot to turn my cement mixer on. See? I'm just a little off today. My thinking's a little goofy. Hold your ears. It's gonna get loud. Alright. We'll leave that to mix while we're gone. Guess I can point you up now, away from the ground. Yeah, I've got my laundry on the line. I need to get it in a little bit. Yay. Alright. I have 2 hoses. I'm hoping that once I reorganize the back area, and I'll show you what I'm doing on the back of my goose lot. That I can run one longer hose and have it accessible for all of my water buckets. All right. But anyway, I am absolutely not in any way criticizing anyone that's choosing to use regular chicken feed out of the store. I'm actually seriously hoping that this is going to be a bit of a savings. And if it also gives them a bit more quality in their feed, that will be an extra benefit. Move, girls. Move, move, move. Alright, come on. Come on. They've already turned all their... They have grit down here, and they have oyster shells. They've turned them over. Either that or the geese do. I'm not sure. They come over and mess around and cause problems. They're boogers. What I've got. They're just anxious. And you can see some of my little girls, their feathers. That's our rooster, is that one. That rooster is too rough on some of them. I'm not really sure what to do about that. All right. And they like their pumpkins. You busted them a couple of pumpkins the other day. They picked the seed out of them. Move, girls. Move, move. Move, move, move. Move, move, move. Alright, there you go. There's some eggshells in there and some cat food, a biscuit, and some noodles left over from last night's supper. So, they're going to town on it. Hey, Ferdinand. Hi, darling. He says, I'm not getting too close to you. You just scooch back. All right. He likes to go in and snack around, too. What a sweetheart. And George is up there just making noise because he can. And these 2 little girls over here, see, they fight with each other a little bit when it's time to have something special. Just because they can. And there comes Chuck. He's funny. Chuck's a sweetheart. And isn't he beautiful? I mean, I honestly think that he is just as pretty as his daddy. Just as in his own unique little way. He says, I want some. Here I come. And there's the crew. Boogers that they are. They know I'm getting ready to go down to their place and feed them. So I had showed you this morning in a short what I put in their water. And now if any of y'all decide to use that, be aware that you cannot put it in this metal waterer. And that's because of the cider vinegar. The metal waterer, it will just eat away at it. So let's not use it in this one. And they sure make it messy. This is cleaned out every day. I'm gonna clean a little tray out every day. Look at the worms underneath of that. They like that spot. Yeah, this isn't at all glamorous. I apologize, girls. Some of you that Might want a little bit more excitement. It's not real exciting. Feeding geese and ducks and chickens, peacocks is certainly not the most exciting thing on the planet. What do you want, Scooterette? This is a little female. And the little males are the ones that have a real big knot. They're going to be noisy. Hold your ears. It's going to be noisy for a minute. I see you, darling. What do you think? What do you think? Such a pretty girl. Such a pretty girl. Such a pretty girl. Let's put this one back on. But again, just to reiterate, if you use, and you can see down in here, you can see that this is from yesterday. I still change it out every day. It's just a little bit yellow because of the vitamin stuff. But yeah, they waste a lot of water, but I'd rather just give them a little bit fresh every day. And I have, hanging on that building, and I have my little scrub brush. I do scrub these out occasionally. I don't add any kind of cleaner or dish detergent or anything. Just clean them up good. Good enough. Watch them dig around in that mud. You guys are about crazy. Yes. You're noisy and you're silly and all those sorts of things. Hush. Hush. But they don't object to the taste. I mean, I've been feeding them this concoction probably for a couple of years, and they drink it just fine. Kind of surprised that there was that much left today, but I think it was a little bit later yesterday when I filled them, so that was probably the case. Or Hugh may have added some extra when he came down last night, because he said I had left the water on. Of course, the hose itself was turned off, so that's good. It didn't hurt anything. So possibly that's what he did. So this is a 1 pint, and I put about half in there. Maybe not quite. Well, I ended up putting a little bit more than half. And typically, and that's a 3-gallon waterer, so typically about 1/4 of a cup per gallon is what I try to stay in. All right, let's see how empty they are here. There's a lot of flies. I wish I knew how to take care of this fly issue, but they're eating it because that was more than halfway full yesterday. I'm going to set you down for just a minute while I fill these up. actually thought that they wouldn't have left so much of the black sunflower seed on the ground. But they did. I might have to cut back a little bit on the black sunflower seed. If that ends up being something they're wasting. I think, and I'm going to have to research this a little bit more, but I think the black sunflower seed is more important during the winter because of all the oil in it. It just gives them some extra fat. And we don't want them to be fat. We do not want them to be fat because that's just going to cause problems. You know, we thought that little Susie, our little mama, that her problem had been egg bound, but it wasn't. She was just old. But being too heavy can actually cause, and look at them. Don't you come over here to peck at me. Don't you do it. But they're eating all those just fine. You can see where I've got that board across the top. I'm getting ready to put a little roof over it to keep their food dry. But I think they like these little hangers. Guys, knock it off. So I'm not sure how those two ended up filled with water. That doesn't quite make sense. But I'm not going to put anything in those. And let me empty the little water containers out. That's one day. You see all that mud in the bottom? They do like to play in the water as it's running. So I always turn it on and let them play for a while. But the first thing that you'll see one of them do in a minute is stand in it. As soon as I get the fresh water in it, they're going to come over and stand in it because that's what they do. And there again, look at all the worms underneath. Isn't that cool? They like that spot under that hot black. Yeah, I may have to cut back on the sunflower seed because actually it is the most expensive ingredient. And that's the reason I was only adding 2 cups to the 3 cups of the other 2. But if they're going to waste it, I'm certainly not going to give it to them to waste. And then it probably will just take them a while to get used to it. So let's give them a minute. There's this one. You'll see it's full of mud too. See, I told you, first thing to do is stand in it. I don't know why. They just like to get their feet wet. They're crazy critters. Goofy and crazy. That's what they are. Right, watch out, guys. Coming through. Don't let me knock that over. I know I'm shaking you all around. I apologize. Alright. Now when these guys were little, and when the ducks were little, my original ducks, I bought niacin, and I put niacin in their water as well, because that's something that's necessary. And I'm assuming that in the wild they have a way to find and get those things for themselves. But in kind of a semi-captive way here, they can't. See, they like that little stream of water. The ducks are usually playing in it, but I think the geese ran them off. Alright, let's take the rest of this and pour it back. I didn't bring my little bucket to gather eggs, so I won't gather the eggs just at this moment. Let's go check our food. And it does take a while to mix it up. The sunflower seeds, for some reason, kind of seem to stay separate. For whatever reason, I don't know. But I have to be careful the way I set this particular watering container, because you can see the crazy side. Well, we had a cow step on it one day. The cattle got in here. There's always a cow somewhere causing problems, because they do. That's what they do. Silly little things. All right. There's Pops. Hey, Pops. He didn't hear me. He went and got on his tractor. I guess he's going through, so I'll close the gate up behind him. Alright. Otherwise, we'll have a gazillion little chickens over here that we'll have to encourage to come back through. Now, I know some people have said that it's better just to feed the chickens the amount that they need every day, which is apparently like a half a cup per chicken, and not to just give them free access, because that maybe also might encourage overweight. But because our critters are so varied, I'm really concerned that somebody will end up without enough to eat. Hold on a minute. Let me turn this off. So I do tend to just give them their as much as they might want. I don't know. It's a learning curve. And like I said, I've been doing this since early 2019. So my curve should be less curvy than it is. But it's not. Oh well. It's mixed up pretty well. Let me scoot you forward just a little bit. So the sunflower that I got came in a bag of 40-pound bag. I will. Pops needs the gate closed again. He's going with another one. Say hi. Okay. He's a few boards short. He's got a saw log. Alright, so he almost has Chelsea's porch closed in. And the only thing he has left to do after these few pieces of siding is he's going to build the doors. So now he built the doors that we put on this kitchen, or this access right here, let me show you. And then also on the side where Aaron had lived and where Aiden lives now. But we've got to paint them, but you can see that door up there, he built that. And one on the other side is identical to that. And then the ones on Chelsea's porch will be identical to that. Heavy, heavy doors. They're 2 inches thick, but they work, so that's good. That's all we need. And he'll get those built, and then the old porch will be totally closed in. And Chelsea will probably be the one to finish up on the inside. I'll help her with that because that's something that I know how to do. Drywall is not my favorite thing to do, ever. Never has been. I hate it, but sometimes you just have to do what you have to do, right? Alright. Well, I've got a little bit more to mix up, and I'll have 140 pounds, minus what I fed them yesterday and today, in that barrel. And like I said, oh, and then back there, that little bale, and that is a little bitty bale of compressed alfalfa. And so I'll be giving them just a little slice off of that every day or two. Alfalfa apparently has some real health benefits. It's not real expensive if you don't, you don't want to feed them a whole block at one feeding, obviously, but just give them a little bit to munch on here and there, and it has some pretty significant health benefits as well. But that little teeny tiny bale weighs like between 60 and 70 pounds. It is really heavy. So that one hopefully will last way into the winter, and then I might have to buy one more sometime this winter. But anyway, that's what I'm working on feeding my critters, and hopefully it's going to make a difference in their health and in our pocketbook, because when you're feeding this many critters, it's not cheap. And I really don't like trying to sell the eggs. For a while we were, but I found out I didn't like to have to make plans to be here when somebody wanted to, excuse me just a minute, let me see if I can lower this, when somebody wanted to come by and pick up a dozen. It's more than anything, it's just constricting. And so I'd rather just give them away. We have neighbors that we all kind of help each other doing different things. I have one neighbor that she has a little dog kennel, and she helps me trim my doggy's nails. And I also have free access to her facility to go bathe my dogs when I need to, and which they don't get it very often, believe me. They could get it much more often. And then Hugh works with our neighbor John. They just help each other do this, that, and the other. And then Sean and Teresa, they do this, that, and the other. I guess I've got one more. He's putting all the equipment away. So let's go close the gate one more time. But I'd rather just give neighbors the eggs just as an appreciation for the things they do for us. And that way I don't have to, try to set up a schedule for people to come and pick them up. And he didn't know I was coming over.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Say hi. He still didn't hear me. Bless his heart. That man, he probably doesn't have his hearing aids in. I don't think he wears his hearing aids when he's out in the tractor, and that's just as well, because that would probably do more damage something good. But yeah, let me move this back up. Over the course of the next month or so, there should be a whole lot of things to show y'all. I haven't had a chance to work on my steps this week. So, well, anyway, since a few days ago, since I was showing you what I was doing, because we've just been covered up with so many other things. But y'all just have to be patient with me, because sometimes things have to be set aside to do things that are more pressing. And any of y'all that have lived on a farm absolutely understand that. Sometimes the things that are more pressing cannot wait. So, all right. I am going to, I think I've been on here for about 40 minutes or longer. I know y'all are sick and tired of it. If you've watched it this far, you're better than I am. I love you and I appreciate you. And lots going on this fall. Lots yet to go on this fall. And I'll just try to keep... I will take you all down and show you what Hugh has done at Chelsea's, at her little porch. Within the next week or so, I'll definitely spend a day down there and show y'all what we have going on down there. It's looking really nice. I'm really pleased with it. We found the windows, 2 big double windows in the front. We found those at was the Habitat for Humanity. And of course Hugh cut, or Aaron, the two of them, they cut all of the wood for the framing, and then also for the siding. And like I said, he's got it pretty much closed in with the exception of the doors. And he'll have that done probably by the end of next week, I would think. Because when he gets, I don't know if it has something to do with that stroke. I think that it does. I also think that maybe he's a little autistic himself. Our daughter's autistic, and so maybe that's part of the interesting thing with Hugh, that when he gets something on his mind, he can't get it off of his mind until he's finished what he needs to with it. So he has those doors on his mind. I have a feeling that they're not going to be set aside until he's got them done. That's just the way the ball rolls here. But I love you. I hope y'all are having... That diatomaceous earth is making my nose itch. Hope y'all are having a wonderful season. The color here, and I know I keep just droning on, don't I? But you can see the color here is changing. Just a little bit, but it's a little bit every day. And so I may show you just a little bit every day as we change. And this little valley that we're sitting in right here has so many different types of trees that we have a lot of color that just shows up. A lot of color. So yay. It makes me so happy. Alright, y'all. I'm waiting to hear back from my son. He hurt his, he sent me a picture of it, and it's gruesome. He cut his thumb a little while ago. And that's what he and Hugh seem to do that. They tend to be dangerous around electrical tools. So, but anyway, he did have to take a trip to the hospital, to the ER, to get some stitches. And Chelsea looked at the photograph and she said, "Oh no, there's going to be some surgery involved there, and it's going to take a year to heal." And I don't know. I can't keep these men safe. But anyway, just thought I'd pass that along. If you don't see him on one of his videos in the next day or two, know that he's probably hurting a little bit. Send him some loving thoughts and hugs, and those of you that pray for him. And I love you much, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.